Hello, you awesome friends. This is your pal, Edward here, speaking in another interview with Edward. And we have got a powerhouse leader on with us in this wonderful interview. She's powerful. She's a winner. I've known her for years. And she is one of Australia's top acupuncturists, Chinese herbal specialists, natural health leader, networker, superstar. We've got the awesome Ali Hung on the line. How are you, Ali?
Thank you, Ed, for the wonderful accolades and for the great introduction. It's nice to be here.
And I got to say, Ali, we've got some crazy times right now, don't we? What's your take on the whole times that we're in, and what's your whole view on life right now?
Well, I don't think anyone in this generation, under probably since World War I or World War II, has experienced such crazy times. You know, since the Great Depression, World War II, this is by far things that, you know, many generations have not seen in their lifetime. So it is turbulent times, it is crazy times, times we don't know what is going to happen. Every day is changing. So yeah, we have to just adapt, respond, and just take it day by day.
And I've got to say, it's absolutely incredible. And I was just going to say, for the sake of the audience, just a few things. I've known Ali for many years, and we've been Ali's clients. In fact, we've had two wonderful children, and Lassie and I, we had full-on fertility acupuncture, didn't we, to help us get two children? You remember all that?
Yes, Ed, that was great times, and glad I could help you, you know, assist with your fertility. And Lassie and you were both great parents and lucky to have such beautiful, healthy kids.
And you actually bring us straight into the topic and again, I just want to say this for the sake of the audience, we're not here with the cure to the coronavirus. In fact, if we had the cure to the coronavirus, we'd have billions of dollars, wouldn't we, Ali?
Oh, I think we'd be very famous if we had the cure right now, but I'm sure there are some sharp minds in the world who are working on something, and that will be, you know, very, very famous, and they will be, you know, definitely given the Nobel Prize, I presume. So yeah, there are some smart people in the world who are all working together, hopefully, to work on great things for what's happening.
And what I want to talk about, I suppose, is general health, Ali. Like, how do we stay healthy in these times? What do we do, Ali? How do we keep our immune systems? How do we survive in a healthy, natural manner? Tell us how to survive in these times, Ali. Love to hear it.
Yeah, so I think this is a topic on everyone's minds, but the number one thing that people do not realize is we must stay calm. So the most important tip is to keep our stress levels down. People don't realize that when they are stressed, it is actually suppressing their immune systems, because when we are stressed, our body is going through a fight or flight. So it's either choosing to fight or to flight. And, you know, our immune system basically just shuts down completely because our body doesn't know the difference between mental stress or physical stress. So back in the days, you know, when someone was being chased by a tiger, they would basically have to fight or run away, fly away. So they would have to basically use all their might to get away from, you know, the tiger or the animal that was about to kill them or hunt them down. So we were in short grade stress. So, you know, our bodies are only meant to last in very, very short-term stress situations. But these days, and even just before the virus, you know, people it's just, I think, modern day culture, but more people are more stressed than ever before. And now with the uncertainty of what's happening around the world, our stress levels have hit an all-time high. I don't think people's stress levels can go any higher right now. And we have to remember that this is not good on our immune system. This is a time we should be making sure our immune systems are healthy, and it is easier said than done. And I'll go through a few tips on what we can do to decrease the stress levels. But the number one thing is to decrease the stress, to keep calm. And that would be my number one tip at the moment. And it's harder said than done, but we will go through some tips that will help you reduce stress. So stress is not good.
So just on that point, and just so you know, again, I'm not a health guy. I'm like a persuasion, influencer, marketing coach. And globally, I'm talking to very stressed out people all the time. And I suppose that's the first one. And we all know that stress weakens your immune system, which is obviously bad. If someone's totally freaked out, like they've got no money, they're freaked out, and they're really at that extreme panic levels of stress, what's your advice for them to really calm down and get control of the situation?
So the first thing I tell them to do is take a few deep breaths. So meditation, deep breathing has been shown to basically reduce your cortisol levels. Your cortisol, adrenaline, and glucagon are the three hormones which cause stress to elevate and for you to go into the fight or flight and to basically reduce your immune response. So you want to really make sure that you are just taking the time out to take a few deep breaths, to, you know, be counted as some of the lucky ones in the world. You know, you've got your health, you've got a roof over your head, you know, you've got fresh food and you get access to groceries. I think you should be counted as some of the lucky people. So you have to count your blessings for now. So people think about the fear and all that, but how about thinking about what you do have and being grateful for, you know, for your health, and keeping it that way. So the number one thing would be, if you've never tried meditation, you've never tried deep breathing, just stop for a few minutes, take a few deep breaths. If you can still go out for a walk in nature, go and do some gardening, you know, just be in nature, you know, take a few deep breaths in your garden, take your shoes off, go for a walk if you've got some patch of grass there, and just, you know, just try to calm your mind, calm your soul for even a few minutes. It can make all the difference. And then you can come back and try to think more critically and be more, you know, more grounded that way.
So on that note, for our wonderful friends in Europe, the United Kingdom and the United States, where it's either like it's snowing, it's too cold, or they're literally locked into their apartments. Let's say you're in a real cramped, tiny apartment and you can't leave. How would you suggest lowering your stress levels in such a small space where you can't go outside? How would you handle that one?
Oh, we can definitely still sit in a comfortable chair in a beautiful warm lounge and still just do some deep breathing. So I would suggest, if people have never tried meditating before, you know, start with 2 minutes even. If you can do 2 minutes, you know, before you get up out of bed, sitting in, everyone's got a comfortable bed, I hope, you know, even if they're locked up in their room, in their apartment, sitting up in their bed. So try to do meditation sitting up, not lying down, because you don't want to associate meditation with sleep. So I would suggest people sit up in a couch, in their beds, and just take a few deep breaths before they get out of their bed in the morning. And again, before going to bed, I now make it a ritual that I do at least 10 minutes morning and 20 minutes at night before going to bed and before getting up. So just start the day, you know, on a calm note as best you can before you let all the rush and the thoughts and everything come towards you. And another thing I would suggest is people not turning on their TVs and the news first thing in the morning. I know everyone wants to know what's happening, but if you can just take a break from your phone, from your TV for just half an hour to an hour, so that you are not bombarded with all the crazies around the world. If you can maybe not even watch the news for the first, you know, couple of hours of the day, just to give yourself a bit of a break. So you're setting the day off on a calm note rather than feeling anxious as soon as you wake up. So that would be my number one tip. If you've never done any sort of relaxation technique, before you get out of bed, just sit up, take a few deep breaths and just breathe. Just take a few deep breaths in through your belly, through your nose and out through your mouth. You will be so surprised how quickly you can drop those immune stress hormones down and get your immune system kicking in. And just starting the day, just, you know, relaxed and not stressed out as soon as you step out of bed. So that's vital. The first thing you do before you get out of bed.
Oh, that's just wonderful. And I actually got asked this a few times yesterday. So, as you know, I'm a Christian. You know, we all respect and love God in all different ways. What's the difference? And actually, one of my wonderful Muslim friends actually asked me this question, Edward. What's the difference between prayer and meditation? And I actually drew a blank, and I thought, I don't know. I actually want to ask, is it the same thing? Is it different? What's the difference if there is one?
So I'm sure people have different views, but in my view, prayer is basically talking to the divine. It's actually having a spiritual practice. So you say Muslims or Christians, if they're having prayer, they're not meditating. They're praying in their belief to the divine, to a higher power, whether you're Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, you know, or in a religious view. Praying is actually talking to a divine spirit and getting them guidance. But meditation is just sitting still within yourself. And it is basically just breathing and allowing your own stress hormones to calm down without talking to a divine nature. Sure, there are people who are religious who also meditate, but there's two differences there. I think that if you're praying, you are actually talking to a divine spirit, a God, Mother Nature, whoever you want to talk to, who you believe to be a high power. But in meditating, you are sitting still with your own consciousness, with your own unconsciousness and your own thoughts. So you're actually just present within your own self. So that is a major difference. So prayer is talking to someone of a higher power and seeking answers or seeking calmness and hoping they can help. And whereas I think meditation is more just to be still within yourself, your own mind, your own heart, you know, to bring your own stress levels down and to calm your own mind. You know, humans, we have a monkey mind, we are so quick, actually have around 50 to 60,000 thoughts a day, unconsciously and consciously. So I think just taking your mind and your brain to just, when you're focusing on your breathing, you're not focusing on anything else but your breath. So meditation is just focusing on the in and out of breathing and just stilling the mind. Whereas, like we said, praying is more to a divine spirit. That's my take.
Oh, that's so well said. I love that one. Good. I'll remember that next time, but I'll reference you when someone asks, what's the difference between prayer and meditation? I always get it wrong. Oh, cool. So,
yeah.
so once you've lowered your stress levels, what is the next thing you would say to people to maximize their health in these trying times?
Yeah, the next big thing, so after they've done their meditation, their deep breathing, would be nutrition. I can't stress enough. Then the most important thing after trying to calm your stress levels is to make sure you are eating well in these times, because I go to the supermarket and people are panicking, there's no food. And I went there and there's plenty of fresh food, produce, herbs and spices that are all good for keeping your immune system healthy. All the pasta, all the rice, all the canned foods, and even the chips and biscuits. I saw the biscuit aisle and chip aisle was completely empty. And I'm like, people should be stocking up on healthy produce and things that keep their immune system healthy instead of binging on junk food. People think, oh, I'm staying home for 2 days. Let's, crank up the junk food, open chips, and that is not the way to keep our immune systems healthy. So we want to make sure that if we can, we are eating whole food, fresh fruit, vegetables. We are cooking. People have more time. Learn to cook. This is a perfect time to pick up a new skill. It doesn't have to be fancy 5-star dinners. It just has to be simple, nutritious food. It's not hard to throw a piece of fish on the grill for like 5-6 minutes. And then just blanch some vegetables. So we want to make sure that it's vital at this time that we are feeding ourselves with good food, because our immune system, 90% of our immune system is actually in our gut. So our digestive system, our gut, is actually wanting to have really good, healthy foods, which are high in nutrients, micronutrients, macronutrients. It's got all the essential antioxidants and proteins that we need to keep us healthy. So we don't want to be eating all the fried stuff, all the takeaway. Uber Eats is through the roof. People are ordering takeaway. Yeah, so that is not a solution. I think that what we need to do is try practicing, cooking. If you've never done it before, now's the perfect time to learn. And this will benefit yourself for the rest of your life as well as your family. It doesn't have to be fancy, but there's plenty of YouTube videos, cookbooks that are simple cooking, but it's healthy for you. So I would definitely suggest, if you're not eating vegetables with every meal, you should be eating your dark greens with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You should be having, your fruits, your protein, and just making sure you're eating whole food. So cut out the sugars, the refined starches. All of that pasta and rice is not great. You do want to make sure you're having lots of fruit, vegetables, and healthy proteins if you're non-vegan. So yeah, that's my take, to make sure that we're still upping our fresh food. So the groceries, the supermarkets are still open. I don't see any shortages of fresh fruit and vegetables at the moment. There is no limits on buying those. I would suggest cooking, adding things like garlic, ginger, to your foods, spices. They're really good for keeping your immune system healthy. So you want to just do simple cooking, home cooking. Like I said, not fancy, but something that is nutritious, that is going to feed your microbiome, which I said is your immune system in your gut. So if we can keep that healthy, we are going to be so much better off for it. And not just because the coronavirus is going around, but this is just general practice. Like, you do want to keep your immune system healthy. And especially now with Australia going through seasonal changes, we are going through autumn into winter soon. So this is a really important time that we are looking after our health in terms of food. And again, with the US, a lot of, I think that the problem with them, and even in some Western countries, is that our health is not great. And we've seen with the coronavirus, if you are in some of those high risk categories, it's because you have underlying health conditions. So diabetes, cholesterol, high blood pressure. And they're things that were here in the Western world before this came around. And this is what, a lot of people are suffering from. And this has a major part to do with the diet and the food we eat. So we can definitely get on top of that, reduce our risk, reduce our, our strain on our own bodies and keeping us healthy through good food and nutrition.
Oh, that's well said. And so, okay, so we're meditating, we've lowered our stress levels, we're doing what we can with what we have to eat better. And also, too, just to give you some context, I've spoken to a lot of my friends in the United States and clients in the United States, the Middle East, and the UK. And that's one thing that seems to be abundant. Fruit and vegetables are available. I guess, thank God we don't need toilet paper for nutritional needs.
That's right. Well, too many vegetables, you could be having a bit of loose bowel motion. So you may need a few handy if you're upping your veggies, but that might be a good thing.
Yeah. And okay, so once you've done that, so we've lowered our stress levels, we've improved our diet. What's the next thing that you'd say that we do to maximize our health in these challenging times?
So the next two things which are really important is to make sure we have got great sleep hygiene. So we have to make sure that our immune system is kicking in, our body is detoxing, we are regenerating our health while we're sleeping. So a lot of people, even before the virus, I see a lot of people have sleep issues. And I think it's just modern stress. Again, we go back to stress. Our minds are racing. We've got too much on our mind now, more so than ever. We're not sleeping properly. So, I do suggest we really need a good 7 to 8 hours of solid sleep now more than ever before. So we have to make sure that we are sleeping well. If we're not, we have to look at why we're not sleeping and tackle that. That's another issue in itself. But we want to make sure if we can, we are turning off our phones. We are, reducing all of the blue light to help our sleep, winding down and making sure we are getting solid sleep.
If I can just jump in, you made a good point. And I only learnt this recently, so I want to ask the audience, what is blue light, Ali? I only heard of it recently. What is blue light and why is it a problem? What is all that stuff about blue light?
So blue light is basically the screens on our phones, on our TVs emit a particular blue light through its filtering and through its screen. So they basically help. Basically, your body will think that it's still daytime and that your melatonin won't kick in. So the blue light is keeping you awake. It's keeping your brain still functioning and active. So now that a lot of devices have realized that, there is actually a mode you can switch on basically every phone, except your TV. You can wear blue light goggles. They can block like the blue light coming out of your TV. So you can get them from Amazon. I suggest people, if they are watching TV, it's not recommended, but if it's affecting their sleep, to get some blue light goggles. They don't cost much, and wear them before bed. But yeah, you want to dim your screens. You want to make sure you've got it on night mode. Look, I suggest no screens for an hour before bed anyway. Do some light reading or something like that. But if you need to be on your computer, you've got to make sure that you're wearing blue light blockers. So that basically helps your body think, oh, it's coming into nighttime. And usually your body's melatonin will start kicking in towards the evening. The body's signaling the brain, it's time to go to sleep soon. So when we still on our screen, it's so bright, it's keeping us awake because our body thinks it's daytime, it's still playtime, we don't need to sleep yet. That's why people are finding they're taking a long time to actually wind down and get to sleep because their brains are still highly active from the stimulation of the screens and the brightness coming through.
Yeah. On that note, I probably did something you'll disapprove of. One of my favorite films ever is Scarface, with Al Pacino, Elizabeth Mastrantoni, Scarface, the gangster film with Al Pacino.
Yeah.
I fell asleep watching that at about 11 o'clock at night, and I think I slept about half an hour. I just dreamt the whole night about Al Pacino and Miami and gangsters. So that's probably the direct opposite of what you suggested. And it was a rough night's sleep. I did not feel abundant and vital in the morning. So great point on that one.
Yeah, and it's not just about sleeping through. It's about getting quality of sleep. So if we're getting lots of dreams, we've watched a violent movie, we've gone to sleep, and we've had nightmares throughout the night, we actually haven't had deep, restful REM sleep. So we haven't been in a deep sleep cycle where we're allowing our body's immune system to heal. So it's all about quality of sleep, not the quantity. So if you're doing 7 hours of good, solid sleep, you're waking up refreshed. That's different from doing 10 hours and waking up constantly and feeling like you're not refreshed in the morning. So you want to look at what your patterns are leading up to sleep, and are you doing the right things to try to get your body to wind down, relax before bed.
And just for our viewers out there, and I just want to say a big thank you to our nurses and emergency services, police and military. For those, let's say, health workers doing shift work, or, let's say you're working all night and you've got to sleep during the day. What's your advice for people who always have to throw out their bio clocks because of work? what's your advice just for like emergency workers that are doing crazy hours and weird hours? What's your advice for those awesome people?
Yes, I myself have clients that are a nurse and shift workers. So I would say, look, you've got to blacken your room. So, you know, the number one thing is, look, it's great they're out there, and thank you so much for all those frontline workers doing what they're doing. And we need shift workers, like that's just the point of life. But, you know, we do need to make sure that if you are a shift worker, that you are eating well, you're going home and you're able to turn off the lights, you're keeping calm, and that you are able to get those solid sleep. So you want to make sure that light isn't coming through your room, you know, and that you are blocking the sun as much as possible. You can get blackout blinds so that your body clock is understanding that it's still nighttime for those shift workers. So I think light plays a big part, because it's just natural for human body. As soon as the light comes up in the morning, it's time to wake up. You know, people get up around the 6:30 mark because the sunlight's coming through. So for those shift workers, I think, you know, looking, you can take some great supplements that can help you calm down, such as magnesium. If you find it hard to turn off during your shift or after your shift, you know, taking things like magnesium is really good for sleep. So I suggest people can take that before they go to bed for shift workers. And also, if your room is not pitch black, I would suggest you go out and get something to make sure your room is pitch black, so you're getting quality sleep. You know, it's the same with airline hostesses that are doing funny hours, shift workers. But that would be my take, to make sure your room is pitch black. You're taking some supplements, and as soon as you get home, you're able to unwind and get the rest that you need, and quality rest.
Wow, no, really good advice. And I was going to say, just for the sake of our wonderful audience, again, across the globe, we got viewers in the Middle East, America, UK, Europe. We've got viewers in all different climates and terrains and situations. What's your general advice for everyone across the world, in addition to what you've said, to really help them in a health way survive and thrive in these challenging times?
So again, yeah, to make sure that they're looking after their stress, to make sure they're eating well. They can add a few supplements, so we haven't gone through that, but I might just cover a few things that have been well researched. So things like vitamin C, I think at this point in time, we should all, if you're not already, eating foods which are high in vitamin C, but actually adding a vitamin C supplement. They can also be taking something with zinc in it. So you want to be taking a zinc supplement that's been good to help with your immune response. Vitamin D levels. So even though we might be living in a country with plenty of sun, we still see huge vitamin D deficiency. And vitamin D is extremely important. It's actually not a vitamin. People misconstrue vitamin D as a vitamin. It's actually a hormone, and it's needed for immune. It's helping to keep the body healthy. It does a lot of other functions, which we won't go into because of time. But yeah, that would be another supplement. I definitely make sure you know, you're taking, and to check your vitamin D levels. It is really good for lung and immune function if you're not taking vitamin D. But if you're very low, to seek out a test, to get tested with vitamin D, and to make sure you're supplementing with vitamin D to keep your numbers optimal, to keep your levels optimal. You can even add things like Japanese mushrooms. So mushroom extracts have been really good to boost immune system for the time being. And then another thing we didn't cover is exercise. If you can exercise and you've still got means to go out and do your daily walks, if you aren't, there's plenty of videos of people, you know, doing things, keeping healthy at home. You can jump up and down in the spot, you know. We need to keep moving. So people think that now, because we are locked up, or with some countries that can't get out, you know, you don't need much room. But if you can still do a little bit of cardio, get yourself moving, do some yoga moves, anything to just keep the body active at the moment is extremely important. And we don't have to go outside if you can't, but you can definitely do that in your own home. So that would be another thing. People think being in their own home that they don't need to exercise. No, I still think that's really important, to do a few stretches, you know, and to even get a skipping rope, jump up and down on the spot. That'll get your heart rate up really quickly.
Wow, I got to say that's really, really good. And now I got to say I love where you're coming from. So I suppose as well, sort of in closing and really giving our audience, what would be some of your closing thoughts for the audience to really help them dive into their health journey and succeed in these times?
So I think it's just so important now. We really watch what we're eating. We are, you know, getting rid of all the junk food. We are eating the best we can with what we can afford to buy. Learn to cook as much as possible. We need to stay calm in these times, because this is such a vital time that we do try to keep calm as best as possible. You know, stress is not helping anyone. You know, especially frontline workers, they're probably the best people to realize that if they're stressed under an emergency situation, they're not going to be able to think clearly. So, you know, making sure that we are keeping on top of that in terms of stress. And right now, the best thing we can do is keep in optimal health. Do whatever you can to exercise, to eat right, and stay healthy. You know, we don't want to be in the percentage of people that, to catch a virus if we can. We want to make sure our immune system's healthy. And this just goes across not just because of the coronavirus at the moment, but in general, we just want to stay healthy. You know, we want to live a long and healthy life. You know, we don't want to live a life that is, that is to do with people who are chronically ill due to, bad food choices, bad lifestyle choices. So you just want to make really good lifestyle choices. Be conscious that what you're doing is the best for your body. You are looking after your body in terms of sleep, in terms of, stress and exercise. So it's just important that we keep all those things in mind day to day, that we are, and even when this blows over, you want to continue with the good, healthy lifestyle. So we just want to make sure we are doing all we can to make sure we are always in optimal health for now and for the rest of our lives.
Ali, I think this is so beautifully well said. And just for the sake of the wonderful audience, where are you based and how can people get in touch with you?
So I'm in Sydney. I have clinics which at the moment are still currently open, but I do send supplements and herbs to all my regular clients that choose to stay at home. So reach out to me if you have any questions about health. You'd love to know more about, my treatments, acupuncture, Chinese medicine. I do online consults. So I will put a link in for my website that you can contact me or message me. I have plenty of ways that you can reach out, but I'm happy to answer any questions that people may have. I'd love to help more people just to stay healthy and be the best, be the best person that can be.
Ali, I just got to say thank you on behalf of our audience. It's been a great interview. I've learned a few things, and I just want to say, everyone, stay strong and stay healthy. And Ali, I just got to say, really appreciate you. Keep up the greatness. And Ali, you rock on many levels.
Thank you so much, Ed, for having me on. And I hope you all learned something, and all stay healthy and stay calm.